So I've decided to not put a gold braid around the base of the horns. It was just a little bit too bright, and I didn't really care for the way it looked. I'm just going to screw the oak plaque to the back of this mounting plate here that I've put on the back of the horns. And then from there, I'm just going to use this scrap piece of aluminum to hook to the back of my plaque. And I will cut this out and fashion sort of a hanging system. And then I'll use these lag screws. I've got really long lag screws that I'll put into the stud of the wall, and then I'll be able to hang it. I am going to hang these straight up and down so that the horns don't have a tendency to wobble. We do get some earthquakes in here in this area, so I am going to use some pretty heavy-duty mounting hardware to make sure that these don't fall down and break or hurt somebody else down below. I'm going to screw this plaque onto the back plate of this and mount it, and then I'll put my hardware on something along this lines here. So I'm just going to hit this plaque with a little bit of sandpaper and kind of round off the edges just a touch and get this ready for staining, and then I'll mount it to the back of my horns. I'm going to hit my plaque here with a quick coat of stain. This is Minwax Special Walnut. It's going to hopefully set it off just a little bit from the dark leather that I have on the crown. Only about a ½ inch is going to stick out around the edge, so not going to be a whole lot, but maybe just a little bit of contrast would be good, I thought. We'll let this plaque dry for a little bit, and then we'll mount it up. So I'll drill some holes into the back of my plaque, and then we'll fasten it to the horns, and then from there I will build this mounting bracket that will fasten to the back of this, and then once again my lag bolts will fit into there, and I'll be able to mount it onto the wall. So when I was at the hardware store the other day, really the only reasonably priced piece of oak I could find was this oak stair tread. And so I cut a little piece off of there, and that's what I made my round plaque out of. It just so happens, and I don't know if you can see the difference in the grain here, but this is the center point between here and here. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of aluminum, scrap aluminum, and I've drawn a line that is 90 degrees to this bottom. I know that this is not a square, but I do know that this is straight or is flat, and so 90 degrees off of there, I know that this is a 90-degree angle. So if I take this line and line it up right down the middle there, that should be the middle of the plaque, and that's where the two bolts are going to go. I know, like I say, that this isn't going to be perfectly square onto the plaque, but it'll be behind, you'll never see it, and as long as I hang it on the center, that's the important part. Now I'm just going to connect these two holes so that basically when I put the lag screw in there, it just kind of slips in and mounts right up at the top part of these holes. So this is just going to be basically a channel or a trench. So now I'm going to drill out a bigger hole at the bottom of this and at the bottom of this, so that when the lag screw gets in there, it'll just slip and it can lock right into place. So now I'm just going to kind of clean up these edges so that it slides into this little groove here really easily, and it should be ready to roll. Finished my backing plate here, then I took a Forstner bit and routed my plaque, the back of my plaque here. Then I'll put this plate back on here. I've drilled it through. These screws actually will go all the way through here and into the plate on my on the back of my skull, and that will fasten it all together. And then I'll probably take a few more screws and just kind of go all the way around here and put it right into the skull plate here, just to make sure that I've got a good connection there. This is pretty much ready to screw right onto this plaque, and next thing will be to put it onto the horns and then put it on the wall, and that'll be a wrap for this project. So my thought here is that this looks pretty level, and the way I want it to kind of hang on the wall. So I've kind of blocked the base up a little bit, and then, like I said before, this was a flat spot here, and then this is a perpendicular line that I put through here. So my thought is, if the horns are sitting the way I want them, and I take this little block here, put it under here, and shim it up to the point where it's going to be equal distance all the way around the edge for the plaque, and then screw that in, then my thought is that this line should hold the horns almost perfectly 90 degrees to the floor, and I think that should work out pretty well as far as alignment goes onto the wall. Well, that looks pretty darn good as far as I'm concerned. And I'm just going to screw this into the back plate of the crown, and I think we'll be set. Yeah, that all fits really nice. I think that's going to work really good. So here's the way the back plate looks. I'll do a complete walk around here and kind of show you how it all looks. There's how it looks from the front. As you can see, you can just see a little bit of the plaque back there, but that's mainly just to hold it all together and hold it onto the wall. I think this is going to look pretty darn nice. All right, to say I'm tickled with the way it came out is an understatement. Super happy with it. Looks really good in our entryway. And most of the information that I got on how I did it was kind of copied from several different YouTube channels, but one of them that I got the most inspiration from was White Bone Creations. Definitely worth a check out. I basically stole everything that I did from them. So check them out, and I think you'll be happy with what you can do also.